Alright, so the color grit down, and then we'll start in a second. Take this real quick. Yeah. Huh?
Does this work?
Yeah, I think it's working. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I know it is. Alright. Anyone after us know about? I'm seeing anybody. Wait, who's next to you? Oh, David. Alright, everyone's here. Alright guys, today we're going to move on to the Cold War, because we haven't done that yet. Another important part of history here. Guys, we're going to talk about the causes and effects of World War II and the effects that it had on Europe afterwards. But this was one of the longest wars in history, being that it was 50 years long. But remember, the only unique thing about this is that there was no bullets or weapons ever fired during this war. It was more of a mental war, more mind control and games like that. There's a lot of spying going on during this time. There's actually a TV show out right now called The American. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. Where it's Soviet Union spies actually in America during the Cold War. Kind of interesting. We're going to go over questions today. We're going to be able to answer those. Identify certain people, what the rules were in the war, and the effects that it had on Europe. A lot of that. But we're going to go ahead and hurry up and go through things. So, definitions real quick, the terms, and then watch the video. And we'll get to our assessment, our assignment for the day. Cool? Cool. Cool days. Alright. Our objective and distinguished causes and effects of the Cold War, change abroad in Europe. Standards 6116, 626. You guys can read those, you feel I'll get. Alright, first word is superpowers. Alright, superpowers. In this case, we said before, this is not the kind of superpowers we're talking about with Superman. I'm not breathing fire, I'm not got x-ray vision, all that crap. Alright, superpowers. This means they are stronger, influential countries. Very impactful throughout the world. Following World War II, Russia and the United States were the lone superpowers left in the world. Okay, we had the United States and also Soviet Union. Okay, after the World War II, guys, they defeated the Nazis. The majority of the power was still left with the U.S., even though Soviet Union also had quite a bit because they held off the invasion of their Western Front in Russia from the Nazis and prevented them from going any farther. So there was a massive change in power from Germany and Italy to France. To the United States and the Soviet Union followed World War II, which made them the two superpowers in the world. Today there's different superpowers. China would be a superpower. We're still a superpower also, but China would be considered a superpower now. Alright, move on to the next one. This is the Cold War. Okay, who was involved in the Cold War? Anybody? Ben?
The United States and Russia.
United States and Russia, perfect. Okay? Or Soviet Union, yep. Alright. The Cold War, guys, was a period of tense rivalry between the United States and Soviet Union. Like I said earlier, it wasn't just a time of normal war. There wasn't bloodshed, there wasn't battles on battlefields, there wasn't missiles launched, none of that stuff. It was all more a mental mind game sort of war because the United States, we were scared of one thing about the Soviet Union. What type of government do they have in the Soviet Union?
Communists.
They're communists, exactly. The United States was scared of the spread of communism would go on into other parts of Europe and would branch off, okay? As a democratic country that we are, the communist is the exact opposite of what democracy stands for. The communist country, the government controls every aspect of your life, what kind of job you have in the future, if you're eligible to go to school. All those things are dictated by the government. You have no say in that. They say you're going to be a farmer restaurant, you're going to be a farmer restaurant. Tough luck. Okay? Very different here in the United States. Alright, we look at our map. The light blues we see are our allies during the Cold War. Dark blues, obviously, the United States. As you can see, guys, we have a lot of allies during this. We have Australia over here, a lot of Western Europe with England and stuff. We have the entire South American continent and North America, all right? What's important to realize, though, Soviet Union also had allies in this, okay? That's like Poland, Czechoslovakia, Austria. All those countries in there were also allies of the Soviet Union during the Cold War. So a lot of the world, guys, at this time was on their toes, a little nervous about what was going on because of why? Why would people be nervous? What was being used or created?
Atomic bombs.
Atomic bombs are being created, okay? That brings us to our next thing, was the arms race. Someone tell me what the arms race was. Isaac.
A competition between countries to build a
Wow, you're good. Alright, an arms race. This was, guys, this was competition between countries to build superior weapons. Like we said during this time, superior weapons were the atomic missiles or nuclear bombs. Alright? Here's a nuclear warhead. You guys see how there's actually very large missiles. They are huge.
Is that
Alright.
like to scale?
Huh?
Is that
To scare?
to
Scale? Yeah, that's right. That's lifetimes. Okay? Massive. Yeah, but those are massive. They're huge. Okay? A lot of people, they were scared. A lot of the other countries were of the fear of a nuclear war breaking out, which will lead to World War III. If we look up here at the chart, we got a chart of how many nuclear bombs or weapons were created. Look at the United States. We started off in 1945, and we had a few got up to 32,000 by 1965. Okay, before Russia was even up to 5,000. So we have multiple more weapons than they have. But you guys can see there's a change in the pattern. The United States will start to go down. Okay, we're creeping down. Russia just spikes right up. Okay, they continue to build this arms race, to continue to build their military stockpile. Okay, like we say, guys, if this were to happen, if a nuclear war were to happen, break out, they would destroy the entire world multiple times over. They could if they wanted to. Okay, we have enough to destroy the world on our own. So does Russia. But you got to remember, a lot of other countries now have nuclear bombs to throw in the race. But during the Cold War, these two superpowers were the main focus and concentration, really, of the whole Cold War was on the tension of these atomic bombs. And also, we had a race with them other than the arms race. What other kind of race do we have with Russia? Anybody know?
the first person to get something in space.
Yeah, it's called space race. Okay, first person to get into space, which Russia got. But we were the first country to land someone on the moon. Interesting. Alright, next one is the common market. Common market is really simple. It's just a group of nations. Thank you, I'll read it for you. It's a group of nations that cooperate to make trade among members easier. So there's a bunch of different countries within Europe who agree to a statement that allows trade to go freely amongst one another, trade goods and services, which allow them to boost their economy. Alright? It's just something similar to what we have here. Here in the United States, we have a free market where anyone can do business with anyone. Okay, this is sort of like the same thing, but they just had a agreement upon one another to make it very easy. So there's not going to be inflation of prices, price gouging, all that stuff's not going to take place. Everything's going to be fair among those nations involved. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move right on because you got shit. All right, last one's the European Union, or the UN, or the EU. I'm sorry. Okay, European Union was an organization that promoted political and economic cooperation in Europe. Okay, focused on the countries uniting, really becoming one, unifying Europe. That's what this union is doing. Okay, the political and economic cooperation means the leaders would meet, discuss different policies, agree upon those, and there's a pact among it. Also, with the economic cooperation, they're just trying to boost each other's economies, allowing that free trade market going on within the two. Here is a map of the European Union. You can see in the light blue are the ones that are members of the European Union. The ones in the green, Romania, Bulgaria, are countries that were added to the European Union in 2007. And then we also have the ones in purple here. We've got Turkey, what we got? Slovenia and Croatia. We're also, those are candidates for the Union, which mean that they have applied to become part of the Union and are in the process. Alright, so they're actually trying to expand this European Union, trying to get the entire Europe to join them. Alright, that's the last one. I'm going to show you guys this little video here. About 10 minutes, little question video. We got some questions at the end, so a quiz. And after that, we'll jump into our books and then get on our assignments. Alright, all you guys need to do is just listen. Don't be writing down stuff, please. Follow along. Easy stuff.
Hello and welcome to Cold War Video Quiz. I'm your host, Professor I Am Smart, and this is my assistant, Jeannie Yes.
Hi everyone, are you ready for a challenge?
We're about to embark on a captivating journey through the Cold War. And then some of our friends will test the extent of your knowledge with a super series of quick quiz questions. So listen closely, because all the answers to the questions are included in our presentation. All right then, pay attention now. Here goes. Let's start with the basic question.
What was the Cold War?
It was a period of occasional hostility and great tension, just short of actual military confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both sides feared their way of life was threatened by the other. There was also a genuine fear that either side might use its nuclear capabilities to begin World War III.
Well, actually, there were plenty of confrontations, but not directly between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. That's why they called it a Cold War. Real wars did break out in countries like Korea and Vietnam. The United States would support one side and the Soviet Union would support the other. Also, there was spying, lots of spying by both sides. These hostilities lasted nearly 5 decades, from 1945 to the early 90s.
The Cold War actually began as a struggle for influence in Europe after World War II. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged from the Second World War as the world's two superpowers. It's interesting to note that the U.S. and Soviet Union had been allies during World War II in the fight against Hitler. But no sooner had peace been declared than the two countries began to vie for political power worldwide.
The Soviet Union had been ravaged by the war, losing 20 million people. The Soviets did not intend to be invaded again. With that in mind, they occupied East Germany and parts of Eastern Europe, setting up communist governments. The Soviets planned to use these countries as a buffer against a possible attack from the West. The Eastern Bloc consisted of Albania, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and Poland.
Winston Churchill labeled this area the Iron Curtain and condemned Soviet control of Eastern Europe. Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin alleged that Churchill's Iron Curtain statement was a call to war. Stalin announced that war with the West was inevitable and that the Soviet Union intended to produce war materials instead of consumer goods. In response to this threat, the United States adopted a policy of containment, which meant it would form alliances with weaker countries that were in danger of surrendering to Soviet-influenced communism. The United States believed in the domino effect. If one country fell to communism, then others would quickly follow.
The first battles of the Cold War began along the borders of the Iron Curtain, but soon spread throughout the world. Great Britain warned the United States that Greece and Turkey were in danger of communist takeover. President Truman and Congress sent $400 million in military and economic aid to Greece and Turkey.
The extensive aid kept the governments of Greece and Turkey in place. The Truman Doctrine set forth a policy of containment of the communist threat, meaning the United States would use its power to counter Soviet pressure wherever it developed.
The economy of Europe had been devastated by World War II. America understood that impoverished people were more apt to accept communism. In response to Europe's dire economic situation, U.S. Secretary of State George Marshall proposed that the United States provide economic aid to any European country in need. This was known as the Marshall Plan.
America sent Europe $12 billion over the next 4 years. The plan was a success. Communism had little appeal to Western Europeans once the economy of Europe was up and running.
Also, after World War II, Germany had been divided into 4 occupation zones: British, American, French, and Russian. The city of Berlin was located in the Soviet sector and was divided in the same manner. France, England, and the United States recombined their portions of Germany in an effort to help the German economy.
The Soviet Union was furious, believing that Germany should remain weak and divided. They responded by blockading their portion of Berlin and cutting off all supplies. The Americans and British countered the blockade with the Berlin airlift in 1948. Supply planes flew into Berlin every few minutes. The airlift lasted 327 days until the Soviets gave up and lifted the blockade.
To counter the spread of communism, the United States joined Belgium, Denmark, France, Great Britain, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, and Canada to form the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. Each country in the alliance agreed that an attack on one would be considered an attack on all. They would use military measures for resistance, if necessary.
In 1949, the Soviet Union tested its first atomic bomb. The United States was no longer the only country with atomic weapons, and atomic war became a dreaded possibility. Americans practiced air raid drills. Some people even built bomb shelters in their backyard. When Russia tested its first hydrogen bomb in 1953, the world became aware of how dangerous the Cold War was.
The fear of communism was at an all-time high. Wisconsin Senator Joseph McCarthy waged a 4-year crusade in the early 50s to identify communists in the U.S. McCarthy labeled those who questioned his methods communist sympathizers. Many people McCarthy suspected of being communist sympathizers were blacklisted, which was an unofficial list of people who could not be given work. Many writers, actors, movie directors, and scientists were put on the blacklist, and they and their families suffered a great deal.
A Senate committee investigated McCarthy's claims and found them to be unsubstantiated. And although many careers were ruined, no one was ever imprisoned for being a communist. McCarthy was soon recognized as a troublemaker and propagandist. However, McCarthyism had a lasting impact on U.S. policy and kept the Cold War fairly heated for many years. Okay, I guess that sound means that the time has come for the question. I hope you've been listening because round 1 starts now. It's quiz time!
Let's get these questions.
Wonder what they are.
Hi everyone. Starstruck here. A premier and most amazing question ever. Stars to be sure up in a minute. Name the 2 superpowers during the Cold War. A. England and France. B. The United States and the Soviet Union. C. The Soviet Union and Italy. Or D. Japan and the United States.
All right, what we got?
I got question.
B.
As in boy.
What you think it's B or Shane? Think it's B. I see majority. Should see everyone saying up. It is B. Remember, we just had that in our
Now I want you viewers
phone
to
ringer also.
write down your answers, and at the end of the show, we'll tell you the results.
Get this next question right, or you might find yourself walking the plank. Which of the following countries was not part of the Soviet Union's Eastern Bloc? A. Spain. B. Poland. C. Czechoslovakia. Or D. Romania.
You think it's A or Shane? Good. I see majority. It is A. I should tell everybody's hand up. Remember, Spain's on the western part of Europe, so therefore probably couldn't be on the Eastern Bloc.
You saved
You know,
yourself
in geography.
this time. Good job. Write your answer down. We're on to wider shores.
Put your brain on this question, buckaroos. Who coined the term Iron Curtain? A. Harry Truman. B. Ho Chi Minh. C. Winston Churchill. Or D. Douglas MacArthur.
Alright, what we got? Alright, who thinks it's A? Who thinks it's B?
Wait, no, it's wrong.
Who thinks it's C? Good, I should see more hands. C is the correct thing.
Winston Churchill.
One of our questions also there.
You handled that question like a real cowhand. Keep up the good work.
How does she know what you're thinking?
Because you're smart.
DJ Ricky Webb coming to you straight down the dial from your favorite radio quiz station, KVQZ. Do I have some great hits to play for you? Check this one out.
What was the U.S. policy of containment? A. Store nuclear weapons in a secure facility. B. Bring countries to the brink of war. C. Stop communism in the U.S. Or D. Form alliances with weak countries.
D. Who thinks it's A? Thinks it's B. C. D. Alright, good. It is D. Last one.
All right, everybody, write down your answer and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Hi there. I thought I'd come out of my bottle to throw a quick question your way. What was the goal of the Marshall Plan? A. Revive the economy of Western Europe. B. Destroy the economy of Eastern Europe. C. Increase American military presence in Europe. Or D. Bring East and West Germany together.
Alright, we got who thinks it's A? Who thinks it's A? Who thinks it's B? C? D? I didn't have a majority there. Who thinks it's A again? There it is. I should see everybody's hands up. It is A. Correct. That's a tough one.
Well, how did you do?
Alright, fantastic. Alright, we're going to stop there. Alright, I need you guys to pass out books for me real quick. We're going to read a little bit, jump around. Guys, we need to do this quietly and quickly. 388. 388, please. Alright, 388. I'm going to read today. I'll lead us. 388.
388. No, you don't.
Isaac, get your feet off my desk, please. Thank you. Alright, Jack, open the book. I don't see it open. Let's go. Alright, we're going to start under the Cold War. Alright, we're going to skip a little bit. And we'll get into our questions today. We'll finish up. Alright, the Cold War. Right, go ahead.
The Cold War. Although Europeans were relieved when World War II ended, new problems soon arose. Countries whose governments and economies had been weakened during the war had to work to strengthen them. Entire cities had to be rebuilt. Most importantly, post-war tensions between the Allies divided Europe.
Alright, thank you. Two powers faced off. Mike, go ahead.
The United States and the Soviet Union waged World War II as the world's most powerful nations. Allies during the war, the two superpowers are strong, influential countries now distrusting each other. Growing hostility between the superpowers led to the Cold War, a period of intense rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union.
Alright, yeah. It's important, guys, remember that we were allies with Russia during both World Wars, World War I and World War II. Okay, but following World War II, had disagreements definitely on how we thought dominant government. James, go ahead.
Much of the hostility between the Soviet Union and the United States focused on political and economic differences. The United States is a democracy with an economy based on free enterprise. The Soviet Union was a communist country in which individual freedoms were limited. Its leaders exerted control over the political system and economy. These basic differences separated the two countries.
thank you, Cincinnati.
The end of divided Europe was a divided Germany. After World War II, the Allies had separated Germany into four zones. By 1948, the Western Allies were ready to reunite their zones. However, the Soviet government feared the threat that a united Germany might pose. The next year, the Western zone was going to form a federal Republic of Germany, or West Germany. The Soviets helped to establish a German Democratic Republic, or East Germany. The city of Berlin, located within East Germany, was subdivided into East and West. In 1961, communist leaders built the Berlin Wall to prevent any East Germans from fleeing to the west.
Alright, thank you, De Leon.
Alliance with divided Europe with people fought in 1949 when the United States joined several Western nations to create a powerful new allies known as the
NATO.
North
Okay, let's pronounce that NATO.
Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Alright, Nick, you continue for us, please.
The members of NATO agreed to protect each other and if attacked. In response, the Soviet Union formed its own alliance, the Warsaw Pact. Most Eastern European countries joined the Warsaw Pact. The two alliances used the threat of nuclear war to defend themselves. By the 1960s, the United States, the Soviet Union, Britain, and France all had nuclear weapons.
Alright, thank you. Ben, go ahead.
The post-war division of Europe into East and West had a lasting effect on both sides. With U.S. assistance, many Western countries experienced economic growth. The economies of communist Eastern Europe, however, failed to develop. Due to their lack of a market economy and strong industries, they suffered many shortages. They often lacked enough food, clothing, and automobiles to meet demand.
Alright, thank you. Alright, we're gonna turn the page here. Go on to 392. That's just like a first line. Alright, we're gonna read under European cooperation, starting there to the end, please. Isaac Larkin.
European cooperation. Many changes shaped post-war Europe. One of the most important of those changes was the creation of an organization that now joins together most of the countries in Europe.
Alright, going on to the European community. Octavia, please.
The European community, two world wars tore Europe apart in the 1900s. After World War II, many of Europe's leaders began to look for ways to prevent another deadly war. Some people believe that creating this feeling of community in Europe would make countries less likely to go to war. Leaders like Great Britain's Winston Churchill believed the countries of Europe should cooperate rather than compete. They believed strong economic and political ties would.
Alright, thank you. That's very important. They were trying to unify Europe here to actually give them a sense of community and friendship so future massive war like this wouldn't happen again between the countries. Alright, Tabby, you read for me, please.
Six countries, Belgium, Greece, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands, and West Germany, took the first steps toward European unity. In the early 1950s, these six countries joined to create a united economic community. The organization's goal was to form a common market, a group of nations that cooperates to make trade among members easier. This European common market created in 1957 made trade easier among member countries. Over time, other nations joined. Europeans had begun to create a new sense of unity.
Alright, thank you. Caroline, your point, please.
The European Union, since its beginning in 1950, many nations have become members of the European community, and now known as the European Union. The European Union
thank you. Moving on. Nick, go ahead.
The European Union has executive, legislative, and judicial branch. The EU, wait, is that correct? The EU is run by a commission made up of one representative of each member nation. Two legislative groups, the Council of the European Union and the European Parliament, debate and make laws. Finally, the Court of Justice resolves disputes and enforces EU laws.
Thank you. Bella, you got one, please?
The European Union, the countries of Europe work together toward common economic goals. The EU helps its member nations economic challenges like the United States and Japan. In 1999, the EU introduced a common currency, the euro, which many member countries now use. The euro has made trade much easier.
Alright, thank you. And the last paragraph, please, Rigo.
The European Union has helped unify Europe. In recent years, many countries from Eastern Europe have joined the Union. Other countries hope in the future, despite difficulties, the EU leaders hope to continue their goals to bring the nations of Europe closer.
Alright, cool. Thank you very much. Alright, you want to stop there? You got that? All taken care of. Alright, so everyone to work on some questions together. Alright? Actually, let me do this. Sorry. Alright, let's do this one real quick. Talks about, number 2 says, what is the European Union? Okay, we wrote it down in our bell ring and we talked about it in our last section here in our reading. What was the European Union? What were they using it for? Someone tell me what it was for. What was the main purpose?
It was an organization.
Teddy, what was it?
The European Union was a part of Europe that was
They were trying to unify Europe in what kind of ways? 2 main ways. It's in our bell ring, we wrote them down. 2 main focuses the European Union had.
political and economic.
There it is, say it again.
Political and economic.
Economic, exactly. Alright, so the EU, guys, the focus was on the political and economic unity between Europe, okay? They wanted to make things easier, and also, you gotta remember that creating this, they figured they would make a sense of community, like we said, but would push people away from the possibilities of a future war, okay? It would make it harder in reality. Alright, so listen up, this is what we're gonna do. We're going to do with your shoulder partner. Guys, listen. Okay, with your shoulder partner, I want you to do 2 questions. You pick 2. One person closest to the door is the reader. Then an opposite, as far as way is the writer. Then you guys switch it up. Pick a question. Do your individual question at the bottom. It's numbered. Do that, and we'll be good. Yes, Nick. Alright guys, you know how it goes. Remember, there should not be any if, theys, or because. Hold on a second. Guys, look up here real quick. Look up here and we have everyone's eyes. There you go. You'll look if I make a goofy noise. Alright. Think, pair, share. Same thing we're doing. Just remember, think about the question. Your spoiler partner should help go over the text to find the question, the answer. You agree upon it. You got your roles, your writer switch. And later, if we have time, we'll share. But I don't know if we'll have time today, but it'll be close. Make sure you guys are switching roles with your partner and not using any pronouns, if they, he, she, none of that stuff. You want proper nouns. Except for number 4, it's asking you a question. Do you think? So it's okay if you want to use I. So I should hear you guys communicate with your partners, talk about the questions, that's fine. Go ahead. Yep. gets us going. I'll come around and see how you guys are doing. We only put stuff like that as if you put the full name prior to, so you never want to do that. If the quotes out, you can do that, but you have to make sure it's abbreviated. You don't put it as close as you can.
So I put two dots.
Yeah, in between, but if you're going to do it that way.
Okay.
So you can't have.
Okay.
Alright, well, you need your math book because you left it in here? Alright guys. You guys get done, go ahead and turn it in, but make sure you're back down in your seat, not disturbing anybody trying to get their stuff done. I haven't seen any at there because, so that's good, yeah. Alright guys, I appreciate you guys working together. Make sure you guys have your names on it and your shoulder partners on your sheet. You're gonna go ahead and turn it in. Up. Davila.
Are you guys recording today?
We got a word here. I just put on the no word list. First word you wrote on that paper. Yes, you did.
Okay, I'll put.
And they'd be wrong.
I'll put this.
Make sure, nope.